They say justice is blind. But what happens when justice is also deaf? What happens when the system that's supposed to protect you becomes the very thing that destroys you? This is the story of a woman who learned the hard way, that sometimes the only person who can save you is yourself. Before we get into this, hit that subscribe button right now and drop a comment telling me what state you're watching from. The Fiend Files family is growing every single day, and I want to know where you're tuning in from. Now, let's dive into this. Her name was Keisha Williams, 31 years old, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. She had a smile that could light up a room, the kind of laugh that made everyone around her feel at ease. She worked 2 jobs, one as a nursing assistant during the day, another as a waitress at night. She was grinding, trying to build a better life for herself. Keisha had a daughter, 7-year-old Amara. That little girl was everything to her, everything. Amara had her mother's smile, her mother's spirit, and Keisha would do anything, absolutely anything, to protect her. But there was someone else in Keisha's life. His name was Damon Carter, 34 years old, tattoos covering both arms, neck, even his hands. He was charming at first, real charming, the kind of man who knew exactly what to say, exactly how to make you feel special. They'd been together for 3 years, and for the first year, things were good. He treated her right, treated Amara right, but then things changed. It started small, little comments. Why you wearing that? Who you texting? You think you're better than me? Then came the yelling, the arguments that would last for hours. Then came the violence, the first time Damon hit her. Keisha was shocked, frozen. He'd slapped her across the face during an argument about money. Then immediately, he broke down, crying, apologizing, swearing it would never happen again, begging for forgiveness. And Keisha, she wanted to believe him. She loved him. Or at least, she loved who he used to be. But it happened again, and again, and again. The slaps turned into punches. The punches turned into choking. The choking turned into something Keisha couldn't even put into words. He would hurt her, then apologize, hurt her, then buy her flowers, hurt her, then promise to change. It's a cycle, a vicious, deadly cycle. And Keisha was trapped in it. One night in March 2023, things escalated. Damon came home drunk. Again. He was angry about something at work, or maybe he was just angry at the world. Keisha didn't even know anymore. He started yelling, throwing things. Amara was in her room, probably covering her ears, trying to block out the noise. Keisha tried to calm him down, tried to de-escalate, but nothing worked. Damon grabbed her by the throat, slammed her against the wall, his fingers tightened around her neck, cutting off her air. Keisha clawed at his hands, gasping, her vision going dark. "You think you can leave me," he hissed. "You think you're going anywhere? You're nothing without me. Nothing." Just when Keisha thought she was going to pass out, he let go. She collapsed to the floor, coughing, gasping for air. And Damon? He just walked away, grabbed a beer from the fridge, sat down on the couch like nothing happened. That night, while Damon slept, Keisha made a decision. She was done. She had to leave. For herself, for Amara. This couldn't be their life anymore. The next morning, she took Amara to her mother's house. Then, she went to the police, the Detroit Police Department, Precinct 7. Keisha walked in with bruises on her neck, her wrists, her arms. She showed the officer at the front desk, showed him the photos she'd taken over the past year, showed him the medical records from the 2 times she'd gone to the emergency room. "I need help," she said, her voice shaking. "My boyfriend, he's been hurting me, and I'm afraid he's going to kill me." The officer, a middle-aged white man with tired eyes, looked at the photos, looked at her bruises, then he sighed. "Did he hit you today?" "No. But last night Is he threatening you right now? Like, actively?" "He always threatens me. He said if I ever leave him—" "Ma'am," the officer interrupted, unless he's making direct threats, unless there's an immediate danger and there's not much we can do. You can file a report. We can document this. But without an active threat, we can't arrest him. Keisha felt her heart sink. But the bruises, the photos, isn't that enough? You'd need to press charges, take him to court, get a restraining order. That's a whole process. Could take weeks, maybe months. Weeks, months. Keisha didn't have that kind of time. She filed the report anyway. The officer gave her some pamphlets about domestic violence resources, shelters, hotlines, legal aid, but no immediate help, no protection, no safety. Keisha left that police station feeling more alone, more hopeless than she'd ever felt in her life. She did get a restraining order. It took 2 weeks. 2 weeks of staying at her mother's house. 2 weeks of looking over her shoulder. 2 weeks of Damon calling her phone nonstop, threatening her, begging her, threatening her again. When the restraining order finally came through, Keisha thought maybe, just maybe, she'd be safe. The order said Damon had to stay at least 500 feet away from her, from Amara, from her mother's house. If he violated it, he'd be arrested. But here's the thing about restraining orders. They're just paper, just words on a page. They don't stop a man who's already decided he's above the law. 3 days after the restraining order was issued, Damon showed up at Keisha's mother's house. It was late, almost midnight. Keisha heard the banging on the door, and her blood ran cold. "Keisha!" Damon shouted. "Open this door! We need to talk." "Go away, Damon!" she yelled back. "You're not supposed to be here. I have a restraining order." "I don't care about no restraining order. You think a piece of paper is going to keep me away from you?" Keisha called 911, told them her ex-boyfriend was violating a restraining order, told them she was scared. The dispatcher said officers were on their way. 20 minutes later, the police arrived. By then, Damon was gone. He'd gotten tired of yelling and left. The officers took a report, said they'd look for him. But that was it. No arrest, no consequences, nothing. Keisha realized something that night. The system wasn't going to save her. Over the next month, Damon violated that restraining order 6 more times. He showed up at her job, showed up at her mother's house, followed her to the grocery store. Each time, Keisha called the police. Each time, they'd take a report. Each time, nothing happened. "We have to catch him in the act," one officer told her. "We have to see him violating the order. Otherwise, it's just your word against his." Her word. Against his. Like the bruises didn't matter. Like the fear in her eyes didn't matter. Like the fact that she couldn't sleep at night, couldn't breathe without feeling his hands around her throat, didn't matter. Keisha was exhausted, terrified, and angry. So, incredibly angry. She started carrying pepper spray, a taser. She even thought about getting a gun. But Michigan's laws made it complicated. Background checks, waiting periods, permits, more paperwork, more time, more bureaucracy. And meanwhile, Damon was out there, free, hunting her. It was a Friday night in May. Keisha had just finished her shift at the diner. She was walking to her car, keys in her hand, pepper spray in her pocket. The parking lot was mostly empty, dark. She should have asked someone to walk her out, but she was tired. She just wanted to go home. She didn't see him until it was too late. Damon stepped out from behind a van. His eyes were wild, bloodshot. He'd been drinking, again. "Keisha," he said, his voice low. "Dangerous. We need to talk." "Stay away from me, Damon." Her hand went to the pepper spray. "I'm calling the cops." "Go ahead," he laughed, bitter, cruel. "Call them. They won't do nothing. They never do nothing." He was right, and they both knew it. "I'm done playing games," Damon said, stepping closer. "You think you can just leave me? You think you can take my life away and just walk away?" "Damon, please." Keisha backed up. Her back hit her car. Nowhere to go. "You're mine, Keisha. You always have been. You always will be." He lunged. Keisha pulled out the pepper spray, aimed, and sprayed. But Damon was fast. He knocked it out of her hand, grabbed her by the throat. Again, always the throat. "You really thought you could get away from me?" Keisha couldn't breathe, couldn't scream. Her vision was blurring. This was it. This was how she was going to die, in a parking lot, alone, while the system that was supposed to protect her did nothing. But then something inside her snapped. Survival instinct, rage, years of fear turning into something else entirely. Keisha reached into her purse. Her fingers closed around something cold, metal, heavy, the wrench. She'd put it in her purse last week, just in case. Just in case. She pulled it out, and with every ounce of strength she had left, she swung. The wrench connected with Damon's temple. Hard. He stumbled back, his grip loosening. She swung again, and again, and again. She didn't stop until he was on the ground, unconscious, bleeding. And then Keisha collapsed, gasping, crying, shaking. She'd done it. She'd fought back. She'd survived. The police came. Ambulance came. Damon was taken to the hospital with a severe concussion. Fractured skull. He'd survive. And Keisha? She was arrested. Yes, you heard that right. Arrested. "Ma'am," the officer said as he put handcuffs on her, "you're being charged with assault with a deadly weapon." But he attacked me," Keisha sobbed. "He was choking me. I couldn't breathe. I was defending myself." "That'll be for the court to decide." The court, the same system that had failed to protect her. The same system that had ignored her pleas. The same system that had let Damon violate a restraining order 7 times without consequence. Now, that system wanted to punish her for surviving. Keisha spent 2 nights in jail before her mother could scrape together bail money. When she got out, she was broken, defeated. The woman who'd fought so hard to protect herself, to protect her daughter, was now facing up to 5 years in prison. But then, something happened. Something Keisha never expected. The community rallied around her. Her story went viral on social media. Women who'd been through similar situations, who'd been failed by the system, started speaking out, sharing their stories, demanding justice, not for Damon, for Keisha. A local attorney, a black woman named Simone Harper, took Keisha's case pro bono. "This is self-defense," Simone said at a press conference. "Clear, undeniable, self-defense. And if the system won't recognize that, then the system is broken." The media picked it up. National news, CNN, MSNBC. The story of Keisha Williams became a rallying cry, a symbol of how the system fails women, especially black women, especially poor women, especially women who don't have the resources, the connections, the privilege to fight back. The trial lasted 3 weeks. The prosecution argued that Keisha had used excessive force, that she could have run, could have called for help, could have done something else. But Simone Harper, she wasn't having it. She put Keisha on the stand. Let her tell her story, every detail, every bruise, every time she'd called the police and been ignored, every time the system had failed her. She brought in the medical records, the photos, the police reports documenting Damon's violations of the restraining order, the lack of action, the lack of protection. "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury," Simone said in her closing argument, "Keisha Williams did what any of us would do when faced with death. She fought back. She survived. And now, the same system that failed to protect her wants to punish her for refusing to die. Is that justice? Is that what we call justice in this country?" The jury deliberated for 6 hours. When they came back, the verdict was clear, not guilty. The courtroom erupted in applause. Keisha broke down, sobbing, as her mother and daughter rushed to embrace her. She was free, finally, free. But the story doesn't end there. Because Keisha didn't just walk away, she used her platform, her voice, her story. She started an organization called Survivors Stand. It helps women in abusive relationships navigate the legal system, connects them with resources, provides legal aid, offers safe housing, advocates for policy change. Because here's what Keisha learned. The system is broken, deeply broken. Women are dying, while restraining orders sit in filing cabinets. While police departments prioritize paperwork over people, while courts move at a snail's pace. But women like Keisha, they're not waiting anymore. They're taking their safety, their justice, into their own hands. Not with violence, but with action, with advocacy, with change. Damon Carter. He served 6 months for violating the restraining order. That's it. 6 months. But Keisha, she's still fighting. Every single day. So, what do we take away from Keisha's story? What do we learn from a woman who had to fight, not just for her life, but for her right to defend it? We learn that justice isn't always served in a courtroom. We learn that the system that's supposed to protect us doesn't always work. And we learn that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is refuse to be a victim. Keisha Williams refused, and because she did, she's alive today, raising her daughter, fighting for other women, changing lives. If you or someone you know is in an abusive relationship, please, reach out. National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-7233. There are people who can help, organizations that will fight for you. You are not alone. And to everyone watching, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment and tell me what state you're watching from. The Fiend Files family stands with survivors. We stand with justice. We stand with the truth. Until next time, stay strong, stay vigilant, and never, ever stop fighting.